Good day, grade 10 science students. Today what we're learning about is a brand new unit called optics. We're specifically talking about optics in light because optics is the study of light. Now, light, we're going to talk about what is light, and we're also going to talk about the two sources that produce light. So before we do that, let's talk about how is light produced. Well, light can be produced two ways. It can be a luminous source or a non-luminous source. Now, a luminous source is when objects produce the light off themselves, like the sun or a light bulb. A non-luminous source is a source of light that just reflects it. For example, a mirror or the moon. The moon doesn't produce its own light, it just reflects the light from the sun. A mirror doesn't produce its own light, it just reflects it from the light in the room or the light from the sun itself. Okay, so we're talking about the different types of light, but really what we're talking about the sources of light. Sources. So you want to write this down. The first type of source that we're going to talk about is incandescence, and then we're going to talk about something called luminescence, and they're not the same. Incandescence, and we have this written down in our notes, light is given off by an object that is very hot. Now, what that means is if you have a chemical fuel, for example, if you're burning something and it produces heat or light like a torch or a lamp that you might use when you're fishing, or sorry, not when you're fishing, when you're camping, that type of light that is produced by heat is known as incandescence. And it's not very efficient. It's actually inefficient because it's actually losing a lot of its energy in the form of heat. So, you may have seen this type of light bulb in your house before. This is an incandescent light bulb, and the way it works is it pushes electrons or electricity through and right around through this filament that's in the center of that light bulb. And that filament gets really hot, and because it gets hot, it produces light. And it's a form of light. It's called incandescent. And it's called incandescent because it's producing heat as well as light. The second type of light that we're going to talk about is something known as luminescence. Luminescence is light that is given off by an object that is not heated. And these we're going to learn is a lot more efficient. What does efficient mean? Efficient means it uses less energy than incandescent. So when we talk about there's actually a couple different types of luminescence we're going to talk about. The first that we're going to talk about is called chemiluminescence, and these are in glow sticks. So if you've seen glow sticks before, they are a form of chemiluminescence. And it's basically light that's released by a chemical reaction that is not burning. Another type of luminescence that you may know about is called electrical discharge. And this is when high energy electrons collide with particles of gas transferring energy. This is the type of energy that's actually in street lamps, if you've seen these before. Fluorescence is another form of light, of luminescence, and what it is it's light that's released when it's hit by UV rays. So for example, if you've seen these long tubes, they're a form of fluorescence. They're called fluorescent lights. You also have mini ones in your house, and I'm going to attempt to draw a really weird picture here. They kind of look like they're spiral lights, and they kind of flicker when you turn them on and flicker when you turn them off. The last type that we're going to talk about is bioluminescence. And this is the least common, and probably you may have not even seen this, but things like glow bugs. Have you seen a glow bug? Glow bugs are also an interesting form of bioluminescence because they actually use enzymes and things inside their organs to produce the color of light. The picture that we're looking at here is actually luminescent algae, and when you walk through the water, it lights up. And that's it. That's all the types of light. So what did we learn so far? We learned that we had luminescence and we had incandescence. And those are the two forms of light. There's actually several forms of luminescence that we talked about. Let's fire through them again quickly. Bioluminescence, fluorescence, electrical discharge, chemiluminescence, and that's it. So those are the different types that you need to know. Make sure that. So what we need to know is, what is light? Well, light is known as an electromagnetic wave. Well, if you take a look at electromagnetic, it has electro and it has the word magnetic in it. And basically what that means is that light is a form of electrical energy, and it also carries magnetic energy. So you can actually impact a light with magnetism. And you also can create electricity with light as well. That's how solar panels work. The light that we see is part of something called an electromagnetic wave. Now, if we want to know what that means, we really need to know about that wave. If light is a wave, if it looks like that, we need to know something about wavelength. And wavelength is right here. If a wave, kind of like from the top of one wave to the top of the next wave, that's known as wavelength. And the wavelength, the length of it, determines if we can see it or not. If you change the length, then you can change the energy of that wave. We're going to learn more about that tomorrow. So that's it for today. Hope you enjoyed the video.